Hello and welcome to This Week in Sports, pre-recorded from the gym of the girls' last home game of the year. Today we'll be talking about, a variety of topics like we always do, something we like to do. Today is February 25th, 2016. I'm Mike McClung here with my good friend, Evan Olawani. Evan, how are you today?
Not too bad. I'm excited for this game. We're going to call this afterwards, but I'm excited for this show too.
Me as well. Tyler unfortunately couldn't make it today, so we'll hope to have him back next week. And anyway, we're going to start a little bit different here. We're going to talk about some NHL, which essentially means you're going to talk and I'm going to listen.
Okay, yeah. So basically, we're going to talk about the local teams right now. And one team that stood out to us has the best record in the NHL, has broken a couple records, the Capitals. They're on a crazy streak. They've won on a couple 10-win game streaks this year. They're really dominating the whole league. And one thing is just their goalie has been outstanding. They have Ovechkin, who can just put the puck in the net at any will, and he leads the NHL in goal scoring. So that's a big thing.
Yeah, they're crazy. I'm not even like avid hockey fan, and I know that. It's easy to see that they're by far the best team in the league right now, probably a front runner for the championship. If they could keep rolling like they're rolling right now, they're going to be hard to stop.
So now we got the Rangers and the Devils and the Islanders all in playoff contention right now. The Devils right now, they're 1 point out of the wild card. They're hanging in there. The best thing they have is that they have the least goals against them in the whole NHL. Best goalie in the league by statistics. Right now with Corey Schneider. The only problem is they're 30th in goal scoring. So, we say defense wins championships, but if you can't score in hockey, it's not going well right now. So they're 1 point out of the wild card.
I'm not too sure the Devils are ready to win a championship with the offense they have. Like you said, 30's not going to cut it. Big shoes to fill with Brodeur leaving. I know it's been 2 years now, though, for that goalie. He's doing a great job filling in for them, playing good defense like you said, but they're going to have to score a lot more if they're even going to make the playoffs, let alone go on a run to try to win it. One team that I look for maybe, though, is the Rangers. I think they can compete again. They've been in it the last couple years, and I think they've shown us nothing this season that makes me say this team is different. They're not going to be able to do it. They're right back in the thick of things again.
Again, Lundqvist, he's always reliable back there. Devils beat them 3 out of 4. I just want to point that out.
Of course you do.
That doesn't mean anything, but I just want to point that out. But the big thing with them is that they can score 2 goals in a matter of 1 minute. They're so explosive. They score so quickly. Their captain has been out, Ryan Callahan. He scored, they went on a 7-0-1 win streak right now with the captain out. So when he comes back, they're going to be even more dangerous, which is kind of a scary thought to think about.
Yeah, their goals kind of come in bunches, so it's really scary to think, if they get one, you really got to bear down to stop them from getting that second one, or else, even a third. You got to try to cap the momentum, cap the rallies before it's too late with that team.
Yeah, and they can score at the end of the game, beginning of the game. Early, it's just at their will, I feel like sometimes.
So how about those Islanders?
The Islanders, you know what? Surprised. They did good last year and kind of fell apart in the playoffs. I feel like it's going to be the same thing this year. They have John Tavares. He's scoring a lot of goals. But other than that, their goalie play's been good, but I just don't see them a good playoff team.
I would have to agree with that one. I think they're definitely going to be in it, definitely going to make it. But, beyond first round, second round, I really wouldn't expect them to go any further than that. Definitely not be able to piece together a championship this year anyway. I think they got a couple more years to go before they're really competitive.
Yeah, and your team, the Ducks, they started off really bad. They've turned it around. They're playing
back
better.
in it now. They have the same number of games played as the Kings. They're only 2 points back in the division, so they're definitely going to be in good shape. And, this is the time you want to play good. Obviously the playoffs, but, the best indicator of who's going to play good in the playoffs is who's playing good now. And you want to be hot at the right time, and I think they're finding that just the right way, and I think that's going to bode well for them.
Yeah, with 20 games left, and, of course, the Blackhawks. They're just in it every single year in a crazy amount of star power. They're going to be in it. They're going to be probably one of the front runners again to win the championship. I
definitely think so. I think there's a good chance they repeat. I would pick the Capitals and then probably them just because they have that pedigree and that history of winning championships, playing well in the playoffs. They do it every year. They get in, maybe not the 1 or 2 seed. So you're like, oh, maybe this is the year they'll lose finally,
no,
first round, second round. And it never will be. They just keep winning. They find ways. They lose guys that you're like, oh, how are they going to make up for that? And they just find ways to replace them, and they're at it again this year.
It's amazing.
Crazy how they do it. It really is. Anyway, on to baseball now. Dexter Fowler was on the Orioles for a day, and now he's back onto the Cubs. A little bit of a crazy development there. He agreed to terms officially with the Cubs today for a 1-year deal with an option for the second. So what does that mean for the Cubs, and what's that mean for the Orioles?
Well, I don't even know if the Orioles even know what they're doing at this point. I don't even know what the thought process was. But the thing that's good for the Cubs is that he's a fast guy. He's a good defender. Hitting-wise, he's here and there, but really his speed, if he gets on base, can be a huge difference, and especially his defense in center field.
He's one of those guys that I really like that I feel like is a little bit underrated, and I think that's definitely a good signing for the Cubs. Tyler's been talking about it a lot, how their bats from 1 to 8 have just been crazy. He said it a couple times now, and he's absolutely right. When you could hit like they can hit and you have a couple top-of-the-rotation pitchers like they have, I think they're definitely going to be one of the best teams in baseball. A lot of people are picking them as the best. And as for the Orioles, you signed Chris Davis to this massive deal. I'm not too sure about that.
Yeah,
you lose out on a marquee free agent. You got to feel for the Orioles a little bit here. I mean, I'm not saying they're going to be horrible, but maybe not to the level that we've seen them, the last couple of years where they've actually been in contention. I think they're definitely going to fall off a little bit.
Yeah, last year it was kind of they're on the downslope, and I think they're just going to keep trending on that right now. No big moves for them, no big players except for Chris Davis, who we saw one year hit 40-something home runs. Last year didn't get up to that by any close amount. So it really depends. I feel like if he can hit a lot of home runs, they'll have a good chance.
Yeah. But the thing is, like you said, not a lot of big players, and you need big players in order to make an impact in the playoffs and going forward. Big players shine brightest at the biggest stages. And if they don't have that, it's going to be tough.
Can we just talk about, did you see Yoenis Cespedes pull up in his three-wheel car?
I did not, no.
He had a three-wheel car, and then the next day he pulled up with another sports car. He just has so much money.
When you're making the money he's making, I don't see why not.
Yeah, I just want to point that out. Just go check it out if you haven't seen it. I got a three-wheel car he pulled up in spring training camp. Just looks awesome.
So he's another big player and another huge player in basketball. Kobe Bryant, it's his last year. All-Star game was he scored 10, but really,
It's
no
Kobe
defense.
Bryant, yeah.
But, obviously the legacy he lives behind is still going to be huge. What does that mean to you?
Yeah, I mean, he's been playing through so many different generations of basketball, I feel like. Not that it's changed drastically, but enough to see, all this new technology and all these different players come up, bigger, better. And he's stuck in there with all of them, and he's playing great still. He's still averaging about 15 points per game, and the game's really going to miss him. I feel like he is just almost the center of basketball in a huge way, and it's going to be hard to kind of move on from him.
Bear with me here. I feel like the game is missing him now because he's not Kobe Bryant of old anymore. He's still there. He's still that figure. He's kind of like the Queen of England where she really doesn't do anything, but it's kind of that really cool figure that everybody likes.
Well, this is the thing. Like, he's on a bad team. So
yeah, absolutely.
If he's
that definitely
on a better
contributes
team,
to it.
Maybe, he'd do better.
Yes, but it's just he's not the same player anymore. He's not the Black Mamba anymore. He's not that player that you trust to hit that game-winning shot in the playoffs. He's not like that anymore, and he's still a great ambassador for the sport. He's done a lot of things for it over time, and I think it's great to see it. He deserves his farewell tour if that's what he wants to do. Just go out on, not on top, but, getting these gifts and everything and be able to celebrate. I think he does as well, but to me, a little bit, it's kind of a shame to see him miss so many shots per night and just go out and have these bad games. It's almost been tough to watch to have Kobe, one of the best players ever, play on such a bad team.
I mean, he's had a couple of 30-point games here and there. After the All-Star break, he had a couple of good streaks. But, yeah, like you said, bottom line, he's not the Kobe we know and love, even though, he's still the same person, great at heart, and, got to respect a man like that. He's like the Derek Jeter of basketball in a way.
A little bit, yeah, I would think so, except Derek Jeter's pass might have been a little bit cleaner than Kobe's.
Fair enough. And one other person, Peyton Manning. Should he retire? Should he stay?
He's got to retire, right? I mean,
are
we in agreement with that?
I am completely agreeing with that. He won a Super Bowl. He's got to end it.
I think so too. I mean, I don't think there's a better way to go out than on top. And with the allegations that have been stirring with him, just leave that all behind. Just get out of there as fast as you can. Yeah. Run with it. He
has little kids. Just move on with them.
Spend time with the family. One thing, I don't think Peyton would do this. In fact, I know for a fact Peyton wouldn't do this. But you got to say it anyway. There's a bonus if he's still on the roster by a certain date. Theoretically, he can move on past that date and then retire and, basically screw the Broncos out of like $16 million. I don't think Peyton Manning would do that, but, it is a possibility that maybe he plays it right. He says, I'm going to go back, gets to training camp, and like, oh, this isn't what I expected, and maybe calls it quits then. You never know.
You never know. Money is a powerful thing, Mike.
Yeah, it is, especially for a guy that's made so much in his career. I'm sure he needs that extra to be able to support his children.
No, not necessarily, but hey, $16 million is still better than having not $16 million.
Yeah, I would agree with that much. Anyway, that's going to be it for us here at This Week in Sports. For Evan Olawani, I'm Mike McClung. Thank you for watching this pre-recorded edition from the basketball game.